In Twilight Princess's HD remaster, 2 images have been added that seem to convey a story from the past. The first, and honestly more well-known image, is that of the Triptych Murals in the Hyrule Castle Town Square. In those 3 panels, we see a young boy carrying a shield with a Triforce crest upon it, wearing what appears to be the hero's clothes. The first panel has this boy accompanied by either a man, a woman, or both in each panel, while interacting with various figures from the other tribes, a Goron, 2 birdmen, undoubtedly Rito, and a Zora along with some sky beings. I've heard some argue that they are messengers of the royal family of Hyrule, and to that I would agree, but what exactly are they conveying to the tribes? Well, the second image comes from a rather unusual source. I turn your attention to it now. This one comes from Ganondorf's armor. Yes, you heard me right, Ganondorf's armor. The image depicts that of a young man carrying a similar shield along with a simple broadsword, dressed in the same hero's clothes, facing off against what can only be described as a dragon or a serpent. But why would Ganondorf have an illustration of the ancient hero inlaid on his armor? The hero, from the context of Twilight Princess, was stated to have exercised a great evil in the land in the past. And we are told that Ganondorf's plot to take over Hyrule was uncovered and derailed by the young man we know as the Hero of Time. So perhaps there were some key events we haven't been privy to see, involving a conflict between the two in this timeline. We'll get back to this momentarily, but first, let's lay out some connections between the Hero Shade and the Hero of Time. The cursed swordsman sleeps before the sacred tree. This quote comes from one of the weathered plaques in the castle's cemetery, tucked away in the northernmost courtyard. We first encounter the golden wolf before the sacred tree in Faron Woods, that is, the forest temple, long before ever reading this plaque. But this locale is filled with tribal odds and ends alongside the mark of the forest spirits, the Kokiri. And we know that the Hero of Time was once raised by this tribe, as seen in Ocarina of Time, and it is clearly considered to be a sacred site. The fact that Link first meets his sublime ancestor Shade there, just before the Forest Temple, is rather curious. In the realm of the mind, he appears as a powerful Stalfos in weathered golden armor with a missing eye and carries a simple broadsword. He regrets not being able to pass on his skills to the next generation in his lifetime. In a sense, this swordsman is cursed. So I'm certain that the swordsman mentioned in the plaque refers to this ancient hero. But does this have anything to do with the battle we see on Ganondorf's armor? Did he die a hero but ultimately death won? We really aren't sure, but it may be possible when one considers the circumstances. Also, funny enough, the shield he carries resembles the hero's shield design used in the Wind Waker, which is known to be a contemporary with Twilight Princess, taking place around the same time but in a completely different branch of history. Could it be that this hero depicted is their common ancestor, a legendary missing link? Yes, that pun was totally intended. The only hero mentioned as being known prior to the events of the Wind Waker was the Hero of Time, who was highly praised in all of the stories. As Link's grandmother tells us, in the olden days, this was the day boys were finally considered to be men. They were taught the ways of the sword to prepare them for battle with their enemies. Hanging the family shield on the wall as decoration is another tradition that has been carried down from those days. The legendary shield is stated in-game to have been passed down by the hero himself, and if this is true, then that means that Link, Errol, and their grandmother, the entire family, can trace their ancestry back to the legendary hero, just as Link in Twilight Princess is said to be one of the ancient hero's bloodline, when the Hero Shade tells us, those are only for the one who carries the blood of the hero, the one whose spirit is that of the sublime beast. And furthermore, at last, the skills I have to teach you have entered the realm of true secrecy. They are forgotten ways that do not leave our bloodline. Without question, the Hero of Twilight is a descendant of the ancient hero as he carries on his bloodline. And, after awakening the sublime beast at several Howling Stones, he also carries on the family legacy of the hidden skills and eases his ancestors' regrets. The ancient hero spoken of in Twilight Princess's Hyrule is said to have left his trusted bow with his sworn brothers of the Goron tribe, and that it had once been used to exorcise a great evil. And the late King Zora took it upon himself to craft armor for the goddess's chosen hero, which he took with him to his grave. They fit the heroic Link perfectly. The green clothing, which the Hero of Twilight took to wearing upon his awakening in Faron Woods, also miraculously a perfect fit, were said to have been worn by the hero who came before him long ago. And they greatly resemble the style of garb which this boy in both the mural and Ganondorf's etched armor appeared to depict. Although I accepted life as the hero, I could not convey the lessons of that life to those that came after. At last, I have eased my regrets. In the events of Ocarina of Time, in Kokiri Forest just outside of Link's treehouse home, there is a drawing scrawled into the roots of his tree. It depicts a figure carrying a sword and a shield, facing down a great lizard or dragon. Could this have been some sort of premonition he had, being a Hylian? We know that the young hero was plagued by nightmares as a climate of evil descended upon the land, just as the princess likewise had been affected. Perhaps, but this is unconfirmed. However, considering it is such a similar setup, there may be something to it. Now, in Majora's Mask, after winning back the precious Ocarina of Time that the Skull Kid stole from him, Link recalls his last memory with the Princess Zelda in Hyrule. In that exchange, the princess tells him this: "Even though it was only a short time, I feel like I've known you forever. I'll never forget the days we spent together in Hyrule, and I believe in my heart that a day will come when I shall meet you again." If we presume that this boy is the same one depicted in the Castletown murals, and the one on the armor which Ganondorf wears during his execution and thereafter, and that he's the same hero who entrusted his bow to the Gorons, had exorcised a great evil from the land of Hyrule, was chosen by the gods and became the stuff of legends, then there must have been some serious events in this timeline's past involving the young hero of time after he returned from his adventures. But if that is the case, then what really happened to this young hero? And why is some part of his story inscribed upon the armor of his nemesis, the evil King Ganondorf? Why is the hero shade missing his right eye? And how did he die? The more we look into this, the more questions we have. But what do you think about all of it? Let us know in the comments section below. And while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you all for watching. This was Ilia Rose for GameOverJesse, and we'll see y'all next time.